Just, as a trivia. What is one thing they sell a lot? You have all these satellites up in the lower orbit, right? I'm not going to call it space because space is something else. Lower orbit, typically 200 miles above sea level. Each nation is assigned a certain number of satellites. And obviously Tonga doesn't have a lot of population, B, a lot of industry that needs satellites. So they actually rent their satellite quota to other people, and they get money from them. Of course, they get tourism and stuff, but they make more money from satellite leases than tourism. And as usual, you also have others. Algeria, Cambodia, Sudan, floating, largely market determined, but you can kind of expect that there is a certain path to it, and free floating, and these are major countries, Canada, Mexico, Mexico nowadays, not in 90s. Now, we had the European monetary system. We just, talked about it. As you may or may not know, European monetary system was a system between countries who belong to the European Union, okay? These countries have essentially a trade or customs union. If you sell something from France to Germany, you do not pay any custom duties. And it's natural to think that most of the foreign trade of Germany and France is between them. So why increase prices of those? And having a relatively stable exchange rate helps with the economic activity. That's why they had those. They also created a fictitious currency unit. It's called the European Currency Unit. Just like we shouldn't call it fictitious. We should call it a computer unit. Just like the SDRs, it's basically a basket of currencies. And we talked about the ERM. But especially after pound collapsed due to Soros, they started thinking about we should have a common currency. Then you don't even worry about the exchange. And in 1999, that dream became a reality. Of course, they had to set up rules how you could join. They had convergence criteria. You couldn't have your annual deficit more than 3% of your GDP, and your total debt more than a certain percent of GDP. And those days, only 11 of the 15 EU countries at that point qualified. Some of them actually chose not to be part of it, even though they qualified. And you can guess what that country was. United Kingdom. They wanted the picture of the Queen on the money. Oddly, you can have your own pictures at the back of the coins. A $1 coin that you get in Germany, the back of it doesn't look the same as $1 coin you get in Belgium or France. They also have not $1, I'm sorry, €1. They also have a €2 coin. We should also have a $2 coin, but I don't know why. We have a $1 coin. Most of you guys may not know it exists, but anytime you get change in post office, you give them $5 and the charge is $1.25, you're gonna get $1 in coins. And some of the soda machines in interstate rest stops, you put in $5, you get a Coke, typically $1.50 or so. You're gonna get three $1 coins and 50 cents. In fact, I have some of them at home. I'll bring it next time. And the actual paper currency was introduced in 2002, and the existing paper currencies, they were still convertible, but that rate was fixed. I just happen to know, for example, the fix between euro and Deutschmarks, it was 1.95583. I don't know why I remember that number. When euro first came along, I was still in the financial sector, so we had to do a lot of conversions in our head. So I knew that number rather well. And I don't think you can no longer take a Deutschmark to a little food kiosk in Frankfurt and get something. But I think until about 2006 you could. But after that you couldn't. Now you can find them sold in places if you want some sort of memories of those. People even forget, for example, the subunit of German mark is called Pfennig. Okay, Pfenig. The young people in Germany do not know what a Pfennig is. Okay. Similarly in Russia, but for different reasons, 1 ruble is equivalent to 100 kopecks. So if you read, for example, Dostoevsky, especially when it becomes money appears quite a bit in what you want to call Crime and Punishment, because the whole thing is about money. So, he was paying only rent of 50 kopecks. What the hell is a kopeck? It's basically 0.01 ruble. But the trouble is, these days, $1 buys over 100 rubles. So 1 kopeck is basically 0.01 cents. So it doesn't buy anything anymore. Same thing, I don't even know what the subunit of yen was. Yen had higher exchange rates after the war. I don't know what it was before. And I'm interested in Japan. Even I don't know. And nowadays we have 28 countries in the EU, but not all of them are in euro. Notably, British were not in euro, even though they were part of EU. Remember, something called Brexit happened a few years ago. They actually officially left the European Union. There was a nice little joke by Ricky Gervais during that time. So they're asking the average people, whether we should exit the European Union. He says, do you know how dumb the average person is? Then he says, we have labels on bleach bottles that says, do not drink. He says, let's take out those labels. Let's do this referendum 3 years after that. Let's see what happens. I'm serious. If you take out those labels, there's going to be a significant increase in the average IQ of any population. This is not just a US thing. It's probably more common in the US because we don't put as much value to being educated for a lot of different reasons. It actually has become a curse word, those educated people. They think they know everything. We don't know everything, but we know a lot more than you do. And since euro came into existence, the convention has become, we express the exchange rate as value of 1 euro in US dollars. So when it first started, it was close to about $1.20. By early 2001, it was actually trading around 84 cents. And it went as high as 160. It came down to earth after the 2008 crash, especially because there was one interesting country that joined the euro later on. For example, Greece, even though it was part of European Union, was not in Euro in 1999 because they had not satisfied the convergence criteria. And I think they got in around 2004, if I'm not mistaken. So their old currency, the so-called drachma, that's a name they actually got from the ancient times. Back in ancient Greek city-states, the money was called the drachma. By the way, those ancient Greeks have nothing to do with the current Greeks, biologically speaking. They're basically a combination of even 500 years before this time. You know, with the Ottomans ruling them for 500 years, obviously, there was a lot of mixing, but even before that, they were a combination of Macedonians, Bulgarians, and some other barbarian, as the Romans called them, tribes. Barbarian is kind of a pejorative term these days, but it had a specific meaning in Roman times. You know what barbarian meant in Roman times? Non-Roman. That's it. If you were not a citizen of the Republic of Rome or Roman Empire, you were automatically a barbarian. It basically means outsider.